Fortunately, in this day and age, there are many advanced, effective medical treatments for cancer that have saved countless lives. Breast cancer is the second most common cause of death in American women, with more than 3.5 million women living with breast cancer at this very moment. Although this is an unfortunate fact, the National Cancer Institute has reported that the 5-year survival rate for women diagnosed from 2009 to 2015 was 90%. The number of women dying from breast cancer has been steadily decreasing, thanks to modern medicine. However, an oncology study has reported that depression can increase the death mortality rate by 39%. 85% of cancer patients believe that their mental health affects their cancer progression, and over 70% of their oncologists share the same belief as well. But what if we can address cancer depression and significantly reduce that 39% using psychological therapy? That would mean there would be fewer patients who feel depressed, anxious, and hopeless. Using psychological therapy, we can help patients find their meaning. Along the way, we can see that there are different meaning sources for them as well. We know that cancer has touched all of our lives. Cancer reminds us of how mortal we are, and most importantly, how cancer patients deal with psychological and metaphysical stressors such as depression, hopelessness, and loss of meaning. The solution to this is very clear. Every cancer patient and their support systems can benefit from psychological therapy to find their meanings, to help them process their emotions, their fears, and significantly improve their quality of life. Now, I know many of you don't know who this man is, but he's the most important man in my life. He's my father, and he was diagnosed with a brain tumor. I've always looked up to my family and to my father. He's always been there for me. In the 1970s, as a 16-year-old Vietnamese immigrant, he fled to America with no possessions but the clothes on his back. To survive in America, he had to start over in a foreign high school, learn a completely new language, and even worked as a janitor for $2 an hour. During my first year in college, my parents sat me down and told me that my father had a brain tumor. The color drained out of my life, and I could only imagine how much more they must be feeling their own mortality. The brain tumor changed him. Depression and negative emotions became a part of his life, along with the cancer and his harsh treatments. He did not know what to do with his life anymore. Slowly, as he underwent treatment, I watched him change from an easygoing, happy man to an irritable, almost irrational stranger. The day my father had his radiosurgery treatment, I remember my mother and I sat in the waiting room alone by ourselves. It felt like the longest hour of my life. My mother squeezed my hands. She was crying and praying to whatever God or being that was out there listening to our pleas. Looking back at the situation, I realized that my family and I did not have the resources and mental health support to help us process these complex emotions and family dynamics. This experience shaped my future forever. Prior to medical school, I was a Stanford and UCSF clinical researcher who was helping patients struggling with chronic illnesses and cancer like my father by using psychological therapy to help them address their depression, anxiety, hopelessness, and loss of meaning. Our team investigated a specific type of cancer therapy called meaning-centered psychotherapy. It enhances a sense of purpose by targeting specific meaning sources, and it's derived from logotherapy. Logotherapy is a psychotherapy that states our main motivation in life is to find meaning, and has 3 core beliefs. First, life has meaning under all circumstances. Second, our main motivation for living is our will to find meaning in our lives. And third, we have the freedom to find the meaning that we want. We analyzed cancer patient life history interviews and identified those specific meaning sources. We researched and looked at how cancer diagnosis can affect these meaning sources and also their life priorities. There are multiple meaning sources that cancer patients can draw strength from. First is legacy. It is deriving purpose through your past, present, and future, particularly through family. Autonomy is deriving purpose by desiring or achieving independence for yourself. Transcendence is a sense of belonging to or acting on behalf of a universal cause or group that extends beyond yourself and your family or immediate surroundings. And lastly, experiential. It's your ability to connect with nature, life, through humor, art, etc., through various experiences. My research with metastatic breast cancer patients who are diagnosed with 6 months or less to live, all volunteered to participate in our study and provide us with these results. Tonight, you will hear 2 patient stories, and all the quotes and examples are from women who have passed away from breast cancer. The first patient shared with us her story. In our farm, we really believe in education. We donate to school auctions, we really believed in the importance of eating fruit, and we have all this free information on our website, and we just want to get the information out there. I really just wanted to do something good for the world, and I have. I'm proud that we have no debt. If I told my friends between my husband and I we made $30,000, they would say, "How can you stand there and tell me that?" Well, it's because I have no debt. No house debt, no car debt, no credit card debt. I'm proud that we have no debt. I'm proud of my kids, and I'm proud of what we do for a living. Second patient shared with us her story. I was born to loving people who had an education and prioritized that for me. I've had a lot of love in my life, and I have the best husband anybody could ever want. I have 2 beautiful kids who now have grown and launched. But I got unlucky with this cancer. After my diagnosis, I had chemotherapy, lumpectomy, radiation, and I still had the cancer. My doctor said to me, "Half of the oncologists in this world will tell you to try chemo again, but we have no evidence it will help you. So I look at you and I say, live your life. Do what you want to do. These may be the best years you're ever gonna have." That's the gift my doctor gave to me. And so my husband and I went off and we went to Peru for 5 weeks. We traveled like kids. It was sort of like I got this extra life with the knowledge, knowing that there was this thing looming over me. I do hold that feeling that I'm truly grateful for the life I've had. It's just wondrous, and it just makes me happy and sad, because I don't really want to die. I'd rather be alive. Now, what if every cancer patient sounded happy and fulfilled like the 2 patient stories we just heard? This would minimize the cancer patients feeling depressed, anxious, and hopeless using meaning-centered psychotherapy. Our research has shown that experiential and autonomy were prioritized after a person's diagnosis. And as the disease progressed, legacy and transcendence were prioritized after that. Findings such as these help form a framework that physicians can successfully incorporate as a meaning-based approach to help patients as they progress through their treatments and stages. Now we know that there is a lot of psychotherapy out there, and a lot of this can be applied to cancer patients that could really help them. And so years ago, I realized that my family and I did not have those resources to help us cope with this life-changing event. However, my family story has led me to help others in similar difficult times by incorporating holistically medicine and psychiatry to create a change for cancer patients, survivors, and their loved ones. And I couldn't have done it without Dr. Laura Dunn and Dr. Stefana Morgan as my mentors and brilliant physician leaders. So, reflecting, identifying, and utilizing meaning sources can be a powerful toolkit for cancer patients. If cancer patients can improve their quality of life towards the ends of their lives, how can we find a sense of purpose and engage in meaningful activities to transform our own lives? For me, I found meaning helping people find meaning. Thank you.